Hi, and welcome to this next chapter, Chapter 3, Layout and Flexbox. We already talked about what the general idea is, what the general idea of this chapter is, what we are generally going to cover in the introduction. In the introduction chapter, you might have forgotten this. Now, I said that this chapter is a little bit sort of living on its own because it does not directly interfere with a lot of the stuff that you later do in your script. But that is also sort of the idea of this thing, that you can prototype and lay out your stuff in UI Toolkit in separation. And then, regardless of how that layout is set up, apply your manipulation and your functionality with scripts later. So again, how are we going to approach this? First, we are going to look at the terminology, and maybe that is the only real part where the terminology in this course is really important. Like, there is not too much terminology, obviously, except learning the code syntax in the other chapters, I would say. But here, there are a couple of terms that you really have to understand, and yeah, by that, know now. You have to really learn them, I don't know, but you have to understand what they sort of mean and what they represent. One of the major concepts here is the main and the cross axis, with which we will start. And that is sort of like the core thing around which Flexbox is actually revolving. And if you don't really understand this, then you will have trouble understanding some stuff that's coming afterwards. For example, the flex direction that we will look at a little bit deeper, and we will see that you can already do all sorts of layouts basically just with a little bit of size properties and the flex direction. You can already do all sorts of things. We will then look at how you can add alignment to this and how it's also depending on the ideas of a main and a cross axis. Now, obviously, if you are a web developer and you worked with Flexbox for a lot of time, you will have a much easier time here. But if you never really felt too comfortable with Flexbox, this might still be very useful to you. Because we are trying to go pretty deep on some of those topics, such that basically when you're done with this chapter, you don't have, I hope that you don't have too much confusion left how to actually use those properties, and that could also help you actually then in the web world. One of those terms, one of those mysterious terms, is flex basis, and that is also one of the terms that is probably giving a lot of headache to people in the beginning. So we will cover this as much as I think it needs, and see a couple of examples. Then shrink and grow are one sort of thing that are building on the flex basis idea, and we will bring all those things together. Now, again, this is pretty in depth. And I think if you have the patience to go through this, you will be able to use this with some competence and comfort, hopefully. And again, we will see that in all sorts of examples, and hopefully have some good starting point after this chapter how to use and apply this in your own layouts. So I hope you have fun with the content, and see you in the next lesson.